So, you think you guys got a lot in common?
In some aspects, yeah, you do.
How are you guys? They're both.
To address the weight difference, Terence Crawford is playing it smart against Canelo Alvarez. Instead of training solo, he's teaming up with the first fighter to ever defeat Canelo. Crawford has also kicked off his training camp earlier than usual, focusing on gaining weight and adapting to it well ahead of their September showdown. However, he does plan to take a brief break midway through the year. Crawford had brought Floyd Mayweather into his camp well in advance, and the two seemed to enjoy their time together. As expected, Mayweather focused heavily on improving Crawford's defense. They practiced moves like the shoulder roll, worked on body feints, and even incorporated some light footwork drills. Canelo Alvarez was just 23 years old when he faced Floyd Mayweather, who was in his mid-30s at the time. Despite the age gap, Mayweather's defense was nearly untouchable, with Canelo struggling to land clean punches over 12 rounds. Over the years, Mayweather has trained several top fighters, including Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, and Gervonta Davis. Now, his newest trainee is Terence Crawford. Crawford recently shared his thoughts with fans about his time training under Mayweather's guidance. You might wonder why Terence Crawford, a seasoned boxer with 40 fights under his belt, would seek Mayweather's guidance so late in his career, especially with retirement on the horizon. The reason is clear. Crawford's next fight will be his debut at 168 LBS, a significant step up in weight class. As a result, Crawford turned to Floyd Mayweather, a 5-division world champion, for guidance. In a recent interview, Mayweather reflected on his iconic fight against Canelo Alvarez, which took place in a higher weight class.
Gave the sport of boxing their whole life and sacrificed a lot inside that square circle. They should feel that way. So if he feel that way, more power to him. I had one fight, and the fight wasn't actually at.
I had one fight with Canelo, and it was at a catch weight, but that wasn't my idea. Anyone can look it up online. It's all documented. At one point, I think Canelo believed I was afraid of him and claimed I didn't want to fight. He even said he'd meet me at 152 pounds. So I called his bluff and agreed to the catch weight. After Canelo made the weight, there were no restrictions on how much he could gain afterward. He weighed in at 152, but likely came into the ring at 168 or close to 170. Meanwhile, I stuck to 151.
I had a catch weight, but it wasn't my idea. So at one particular time, you guys can, anybody, you can go online and pull this up. It was an article. So with Canelo said, I believe Canelo at one particular time thought I was scared of him.
Perhaps Terence Crawford saw Mayweather's approach as the perfect blueprint for his own transition to a higher weight class, especially with so much to learn before his move in less than a month. While boxing fans often compare Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Terence Crawford, they never overlook Mayweather's incredible 50-0 record. Crawford holds immense respect for Mayweather, and when asked about their similarities, he didn't shy away from acknowledging Floyd's greatness, praising him as a true legend in the sport.
Hit and not get hit, and to make the adjustments that he's made to certain fighters.
Crawford went on to say, "We do share a lot in common, but there are differences too. I take more chances in my fights." Early in his career, Floyd took plenty of risks as well. It really depends on which Floyd Mayweather you're talking about. Pretty Boy or Money? Pretty Boy was aggressive and always going for the knockout. But later, after he started having hand injuries and moving up to face bigger opponents, he couldn't rely on power as much.
boxing. I think, I take more chances.
Excuse me, Crawford.
You know, right now. But earlier in his career, he was taking a lot of chances as well. So, you know.
As Crawford mentioned, he and Mayweather share several similarities. However, fans and analysts have often compared the two to determine who the superior fighter is. In one analysis, a source named Crawford as the likely winner if the two ever faced off. Still, when it comes to pure boxing skill, few can match Floyd Mayweather's ability to deliver consistent masterclasses in the art of the sweet science.
Mayweather, you talk about, you talk about money, or do you talk about Pretty Boy? Because Pretty Boy was the seek and destroy.
Mayweather's crisp jab, precise timing, and exceptional counterpunching skills allowed him to dismantle opponents throughout his career. He did this across two versions of himself, adapting his style and strategy as he moved up in weight and faced new challenges.
From the left hooks again. And the lightning hand speed extraordinary. Left hook drops him. And then he hit his head off the en masse here at the engine.
As Crawford pointed out, Pretty Boy was the more aggressive boxer, constantly taking the fight to his opponents, while Money Mayweather years later used his brilliant boxing IQ to outsmart and outbox opponents with precision. Both styles have earned Mayweather legendary status. Meanwhile, Crawford's performance against Spence in his last fight still has fans in awe. His power jab, which consistently broke through Spence's guard, combined with his impeccable counter-punching timing, showcased supreme boxing skills. It wasn't the first time Crawford displayed his ability, but doing so against a fighter of Spence's caliber made it even more impressive. When discussing pure boxing ability, it's hard to argue that anyone could outperform Mayweather. However, Crawford's style is different, explosive and effective in its own right. If Crawford were to face Mayweather in his prime, it would be a clash of two distinct yet highly effective approaches. Who would land the jab first? Who would be the more successful counter-puncher? There are so many factors to consider, and in the end, it might be best to call this category a draw. We've seen Mayweather time and time again lure his opponents to the center of the ring, where he calmly analyzed the situation and created a blueprint to pick them apart. His ring IQ and his mantra of hit and not get hit propelled him to the Hall of Fame as an undefeated 5-division world champion. On the other hand, Crawford, who became undisputed at junior welterweight and now at welterweight, has also displayed a high level of ring IQ throughout his career. Mayweather was known for his hand speed, particularly in counterpunching, while Crawford's ability to create slashing angles and deliver whiplashing shots gives him the edge in speed. Mayweather's 50 career wins included 27 knockouts, compared to Crawford's 40 wins with 31 knockouts. And Crawford is still active, making the comparison even more intriguing. Crawford's masterful performance against Spence, dropping him 3 times on his way to a dominant 9th round TKO, was a testament to his skill and power. Spence, a powerful body-snatching fighter who had systematically broken down the likes of Kell Brook, Sean Porter, and Yordenis Ugas to become the unified welterweight champion, wasn't an easy opponent to handle, yet Crawford made it look effortless. His power was a key factor in that victory. Mayweather, on the other hand, relied on his defensive wizardry, using the Philly shell and raising his shoulder to absorb shots while strategically picking his punches with his free hand. This was counterpunching at its finest, a defensive boxing style that allowed him to outsmart and outmaneuver opponents while remaining almost untouchable.
Look at this, it's unbelievable. For young boxing fans that are watching Floyd Mayweather, you're seeing one of the greatest defensive fighter of all time. I mean, that's how strong.
You're wearing, then he's nowhere. You think you...
And again, it's not just hand quick.
Crawford definitely has solid defense, but Mayweather took it to another level, nearly perfecting the art. If we imagine a fight between a prime Crawford and Mayweather, it would be a fascinating contest. After a tense first round where both fighters try to gauge each other, Crawford would likely be the more active fighter early on, launching punches and scoring shots, even if some of them are absorbed by Mayweather's shoulder and elbow defense. The fight progresses. Mayweather's style would start to dominate. By the middle rounds, he'd begin to pepper Crawford with jabs, using his defensive brilliance to avoid most of Crawford's attacks while gradually winning rounds with his counters and precision. The fight would showcase a clash of styles, but Mayweather's experience and defense might give him the edge.
To the head, the way he rolls with punches. Look at the way he makes them miss. I mean, here we go. Through a series of punches and nothing really landed. The rapid fighter. For Mayweather. All right.
Crawford's pressure and firepower could potentially reach Mayweather, even hurting him at times. Although this fight would be close, Crawford's skill and fast punches might be enough to earn him points with the judges thanks to his volume and relentless pressure. However, moving up in weight isn't easy, and Crawford is determined not to repeat the mistakes of Canelo Alvarez, who faced a setback when he moved up to light heavyweight to fight Dimitri Bivol. Canelo's ambition led him to face unbeaten WBA light heavyweight champion Dimitri Bivol, but the move didn't go as planned. Bivol relied on solid defense and precise punches to win a unanimous decision, with all three judges scoring the fight 115 to 113 in his favor. The fight was far from competitive, with CBS Sports scoring at 109 to 119 for Bivol. Despite becoming the first undefeated super middleweight champion, Canelo's return to 175 lbs in this fight proved tough. He couldn't get past Bivol's strong, technical game, and Bivol's jab was key to keeping Canelo at bay. Bivol countered most of Canelo's punches with clean combinations, never allowing him to land a significant strike. Canelo connected with only 17% of his punches, while Bivol outlanded him by a margin of 150 to 284, according to CompuBox. After the fight, Canelo admitted he thought he was ahead on the scorecards, but acknowledged that Bivol deserved the win, praising his opponent's boxing ability and power. To avoid making similar mistakes, Crawford is seeking Mayweather's guidance. Mayweather's results, both as a trainer and fighter, speak for themselves. His most recent trainee shocked the world with an impressive victory earlier this year. During a lengthy interview with Patrick Bet David on his podcast, junior welterweight contender Ryan Garcia from Victorville, California, discussed his well-known friendship with Floyd Money Mayweather. Garcia made it clear that he holds the Hall of Fame fighter in high regard, more so than most, even within his own circle. When Bet David asked which influential person in his life had the license to give him tough, unfiltered criticism, Garcia immediately mentioned Mayweather. Later, Garcia was asked about a widely discussed potential matchup between two highly skilled fighters, Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, both considered among the best in the sport today. Ryan Garcia recalled that when he first started boxing, one of the first things he learned was to respect weight classes. However, he mentioned that Terence Crawford is one of his favorite active fighters due to his impressive skills. Garcia believes Crawford has what it takes, and that his coach knows exactly what to do to get him ready for any challenge. When asked directly if Crawford could defeat Canelo, Dimitri Bivol said, "I can imagine it," showing his respect for Crawford's abilities, even considering the size difference. Bivol added that Crawford's superior ring knowledge could give him an edge over Canelo. He praised Crawford, calling him one of the best boxers in the world right now, noting that Crawford's high fight IQ sets him apart.
Wanting to fight Canelo 3 divisions up. Good idea, bad idea?
I don't remember sizes of Terence Crawford.
Welterweight.
if he big actually.
Maybe he's probably
Hall of Famer and ESPN boxing analyst Timothy Bradley Jr. recently expressed his support for Terence Crawford in a potential matchup with Canelo Alvarez. Speaking on his YouTube channel, Bradley addressed the frequent discussion about the weight difference between the two fighters. He pointed out that Crawford only recently moved up to 154 pounds, while Canelo has been fighting at 168 pounds since late 2020. Bradley also questioned the idea that Canelo could knock Crawford out, stating, "When was the last time Canelo knocked somebody out?" He pointed out that Alvarez's most recent knockout came against Caleb Plant in November 2021, indicating that it's been a while since Canelo delivered a stoppage victory.
I don't know, something told me to study Canelo, study Crawford. Crawford about to beat the shit out of Canelo Alvarez. I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez.
Since then, Canelo Alvarez has failed to score a knockout against notable opponents like Dmitry Bivol in a loss, and 40-year-old Gennady Golovkin. He's also gone the distance with fighters thought to be well below his level, such as John Ryder, Jaime Munguia, and Edgar Berlanga. Even Jermell Charlo, a natural junior middleweight, managed to last the full fight with Canelo, though he wasn't competitive against the super middleweight champion. Bradley dismissed the idea of Canelo knocking Crawford out, saying, "Come on, man, when was the last time Canelo knocked someone out?" Bradley also drew a comparison to heavyweight Tyson Fury, who fought a man 50 pounds heavier. He pointed out that Canelo is the same height as Crawford and isn't a true 168-pound fighter. While Canelo is a great fighter, Bradley emphasized that Crawford is a great fighter too, and great fighters know how to figure things out. Bradley highlighted Crawford's 70-inch reach, which is 3.5 inches longer than Canelo's, and his ability yet to neutralize his opponent's offense with his counterpunching. Since Canelo is already a low-output fighter, Bradley believes Crawford could win a decision by working from distance and using straight shots between Canelo's swinging hooks, wearing him down as the fight goes on. Bradley also took a jab at Canelo, referring to his apparent avoidance of David Benavidez and mimicking Canelo's voice, saying, "Remember what you said, easy fight, easy fight, easy fight." Despite many people in the boxing world believing that size and power would be too much for Crawford, Bradley stood firm in his unpopular opinion. "I'm going to get back to my hatate," he said at the end of the video, sipping his drink, but clearly confident in his stance. Whether the boxing world will ever see a Canelo-Crawford matchup is still uncertain. Crawford, who became the undisputed welterweight champion in July 2023 after stopping Errol Spence Jr., went on to make more history by becoming a 4-division champion earlier this year, capturing the WBA title at 154 pounds. Meanwhile, Canelo has continued to enjoy his own share of success in recent years.
Listen, I think Berlanga's a talented kid who's getting better. He's improved recently. I think he still needs more seasoning, but I see an improvement in him. He is a talented kid.
After claiming the undisputed super middleweight title in 2021, Canelo Alvarez suffered a setback in his challenge against then WBA light heavyweight champion Dmitry Bivol. However, the 34-year-old bounced back with 5 victories, defeating fighters like Gennady Golovkin, Jermell Charlo, and Edgar Berlanga. Along the way, legendary trainer turned analyst Teddy Atlas recently shared his thoughts with Fight Hub TV about a potential mega fight between Canelo and Terence Crawford. Atlas expressed his belief that it would be tough to go against Crawford, saying, "Very few people have the appetite or inclination for challenging themselves. Mr. Crawford does. I ain't never going against that guy. Father Time might catch him, but I don't know if a weight class can catch him." Atlas acknowledged Canelo's strengths, like his size, power, and ability to time punches, but emphasized that Crawford would find a game plan to make use of Canelo's size disadvantage. When speaking to Fight Hub TV, Atlas praised Crawford's skills, noting that Crawford has all the tools needed to win a 3rd undisputed title. He added, "Any serious boxing fan knows Crawford can beat Canelo. You have to know fighting to be able to say that." Crawford, who is rumored to be facing Canelo either in May or September, has the chance to add another major achievement to his career. However, Canelo might be waiting for the outcome of the February 22nd fight between light heavyweight rivals Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. Beterbiev defeated Bivol in their first encounter last year. To stay up to date with the latest boxing news, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on notifications for more quality content. Until next time, peace out.